My name is David Nekrutman. I'm the executive director for the Isaiah Projects, an organization dedicated to creating Hebraic resources for Christians around the world. But after October 7th, as many others came and joined with our people, with our land, to help out reservists, survivors, and rebuilding the South. Thank you, Yael. And to the entire dedicated staff of the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews for arranging this essential October 7th memorial and flags of fellowship. We're here at Kibbutz Nir Oz, but I am addressing the audience on the camera. It's an honor to be part of this somber event and to stand before you today to deliver a short message. Your organization, the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews, has been indispensable for the critical help and the comfort to the Israeli border communities, as well as the entire Israel. And for that, we are eternally grateful. The last time I visited Kibbutz Nir Oz was right after the burial of innocent souls of Shiri, Ariel, and Kfir Bibas. We are on sacred ground, and this community was among the hardest hit on that fateful day. The very earth here holds the raw, unbearable memory, an unbelievable pain of 117 people who were either killed or taken hostage on October 7th. We are acutely cognizant of the immense sacrifices and the deep ongoing trauma still borne by every single member of this kibbutz and the neighboring Israeli border communities. We stand here to honor to those we have lost, to pray for the safe return of the hostages, and to commit ourselves to body and soul to the future of the survivors. But to truly grasp the scale of the spiritual assault, we must remember the profound duality of October 7th, since it took place on Shabbat, on a Sabbath, on Simchat Torah, the literal translation, the joy of his word. I want to share a personal experience as an Orthodox Jew living in Netanya, who observes the sanctity of Sabbath and the holidays and removing all and disconnecting from all technology. I was initially unaware of the unfolding of the horror 2 years ago. There were no sirens in Netanya. We were wrapped in an ancient cocoon of the holiday. It was only late morning. Whispers of massive terrorist attack began to rumble in the synagogue. By early afternoon, the message was urgent. Cutting through the devotional atmosphere, a person came in with a message: if you are a soldier, you need to get to your phone. We are at war. I ran home to wake up my son, my middle son, who was a soldier. Within minutes, as I came home, there was a knock at the door. A friend of the family came in and said that your son is immediately needed at his base. I helped him pack his gear, his face set already with a solemn sense of purpose, and off he went. But I still did not know the true magnitude of the horror until after the holiday ended. The initial feelings that washed over me were a wave of disbelief, quickly followed by scolding anger, and then a crippling sense of guilt. How could I have been dancing and celebrating the holiday, the most joyful holiday on the calendar, while people were being raped, wounded, taken hostage, and brutally murdered just an hour and a half driving distance from me? It did take 24 hours to process the silence and the tears, to move through shock. Then came the resolve. Mourning must turn into action. And I decided to become a small, dedicated part of the solution. Nothing to the scale of what Yael and what the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews are doing on a macro level. I was just a simple person, Bible teacher, who has connections both with Jews and Christians to help the reservists to get the protective equipment needed, supporting the survivors who are falling through the cracks of bureaucracy, providing them with critical humanitarian aid, and eventually assisting and rebuilding some of the kibbutzim here that were most devastated. This was and is all possible with the indispensable help of Christians and Jews around the world. It was in the same spirit this year to help out Syrian Christians and Druze with Yael XD. We have a shared compassion to our neighbors across the border. The irony of the day, terror attacking a day of ultimate ecstatic joy, points to the true indestructible nature of the Jewish spirit. We must understand what Simchat Torah truly is. The Bible commands us to observe an 8th day after the Feast of Tabernacles. You'll see that in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 36, and the book of Numbers chapter 29, verse 35. But there is no rabbinic or biblical directive for the custom of Simchat Torah itself. The act of dancing and singing and rejoicing with the Torah scrolls. That custom, the ecstatic parade with the Torah, occurred over 1,100 years ago in the modern day Iraq, Babylon. The Feast of Tabernacles, in Hebrew known as Sukkot, was the joy of home, meaning we're in a temporary hut called a sukkah, reminding us that we were nomads 40 years in the desert, roaming around until we eventually came home. But during those 40 years, we had the best security system known as God. We were blessed to be in the home settled in the land once Joshua conquered it. The 4 species, the palm branch, the citron, the myrtle, the willows, were a vibrant celebration of Israel's bounty and the symbols of unity of the Federation of Tribes in ancient Israel. But once we were exiled, after the Second Temple, scattered to the 4 corners of the world, lost our land, lost our temple, lost our political freedom, all that remained for the Jewish people was the Torah. It's not just a book. It became, after the destruction of the Second Temple, the sacred cord that bound us as one nation across the 4 corners of the world, even without a common land, economy, or language. It became our life, our memory, our future, a sacred marriage covenant with God. We had lost the world, but God's word was enough, more than enough. On Simchat Torah, we created a holiday to dance with the Torah. It came from us, the people, the Jews. It was a defiant act of joy to the declaration to the world that even when we are being persecuted, even though there are pogroms and inquisitions and whatever it is, ach sameach, holy, completely joyful. Just as the Torah commanded for the Feast of Tabernacles to be joyous, we expanded and extended that joy to Simchat Torah. Born in the ashes of exile and loss, it is a testament to our resilience. A people that can walk through the valley of the shadow of death and still find a reason to dance is a people that cannot be defeated. Hamas knew this. They intentionally attacked us on this holiday, not only to destroy our bodies, but our spirit and our fundamental capacity for joy. But they failed spectacularly. What we found immediately after October 7th was a international ability to come together. A unity I have never personally witnessed in my own life, to stand in the gap and rebuild. And critically, this unity extended to a significant remnant of Christians who stood with us, providing comfort and critical humanitarian bridge that we needed. The unity was forged in fire. is the Simchat Torah of our modern day era. It proves that the promise of Nehemiah holds true. Do not grieve, for the joy of the Lord is your strength. This strength demonstrated through our faith, our resolve, our shared covenantal partnership under his guidance, will enable us to rebuild a more vibrant and stronger Israel. And before I leave this sacred ground of Kibbutz Nir Oz, I must offer a final word of profound gratitude and recognition to our Christian friends who stand shoulder to shoulder with us with the flags of fellowship. Your act is an immense moral and theological courageous act. We are acutely aware that the powerful voices rooted in the history of replacement theology and supersessionism still exist, attempting to sever the modern Jewish people from our ancient biblical heritage. Yes, Genesis chapter 12, verse 3 is also the Jews of today. They argue that our covenant has expired, but your solidarity today is living repudiation of that false doctrine. By standing with us today, we remember those lost and commit to rebuilding, but you are explicitly affirming the enduring, irrevocable validity of God's covenant with the Jewish people. Your partnership transforms this memorial. It declares that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is faithful in each and every generation to his people. Am Yisrael Chai.